when I fell in love with music and when I knew like, oh no, like, I went to college, I got my degree, but when I knew like, oh no, I'm supposed to be an artist, like this is my work, it's because I had encountered artists that were so vulnerable, artists that shared parts of themselves that it was like, oh my gosh, and they doing that did something that healed me on the inside.
Between the Grooves is hosted by James Curtis, music director and morning man in the Greater Toronto Area on Joy Radio, and Aisha Woods, Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, and musician. Together, they talk with artists and industry insiders to discover our connection between music and faith. You can connect with us on Facebook or X at Between Grooves and on Instagram at Between Grooves Pod. Now, here's James and Aisha.
Welcome to Between the Grooves. It's James Curtis along with Aisha Woods. How you doing, Aisha?
I'm off the dome.
What are you doing?
Early this morning.
What are you doing?
Home.
What are you doing? What are you trying to do right now?
I thought I had some skills to MC a little bit. I just have to stay in my lane. That's not my lane.
That's right. It's like when you're at church and you want to be a singer, but you know what? I think you would be a great usher, or maybe a greeter at the front door. You've got that personality. You've got that bubble,
Right.
Yeah, but spoken word, hip hop, it's not your thing, Aisha, and it's not mine either.
Oh my gosh.
I never profess that I know anything about that stuff. For me to put together a rhyme is it's
going to take a little extra time.
Oh, cringe. I think we need to bring somebody on that actually has some talent in this area. What do you think?
Okay, I agree. I concur.
Okay, good stuff. Let's have a chat with Mahogany Jones.
And that's what I said. I'm here in Florida.
Yeah. Mahogany, you and Aisha go a ways back, don't you?
Way back.
If we say how far back, we'll start to tell our age. And we ain't going there this morning.
I mean, did you grow up together, or how far back are we talking?
Yeah, we didn't grow up together. However, let's just say we met each other around 2000. Let's just say we knew each other when the 2000s were like single digits.
She's being
so careful. That was a great way to put it.
She's being so careful. Have you noticed that? She's being so careful. And yet, our job is to extract all this information out of you and then, get you to say things that you'll regret saying later on,
That's it.
That's it.
It's all good.
I'm happy we're here. We're here now.
Seasoned. That's what we are. We're seasoned with salt.
Well, in that case, I'm in the same boat. So.
Okay, good.
Yeah. You've got a hip hop background.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about, your love of music growing up and how that evolved into, say, a music career?
So it's really funny. As a young person, I just love writing. I love words. I love to write letters. I just love to tell stories. And then when I was about 13, I was in church. I was not paying attention as I should have been. I was with my
I don't know what 13-year-old would be in church. Sorry.
Right.
But I was in church, not paying attention.
Yeah, but at least you were in church. That's a good thing.
We were together. We were in church.
Yeah.
And she wrote a poem. And I was like, well, I want to try. And next thing you know, I had written 100 poems. And so that for me was going to be the thing. Like, I thought I was going to be like Maya Angelou. I thought it was going to be like a very renowned poet. And my family at the time was deep in the music industry. So he's like a huge mogul now. and was at the time for a company called Atlantic Records. His name is Doug Morris. My grandmother worked for him. My grand aunt was the first like African American woman vice president for a record label, and she worked with a big label head called Ahmet Erdogan at the time. And so I was always in and out of Warner Brothers and out of Atlantic. My mother was a radio promotions person for Warner Brothers and then for Polygram. So I was just around it all the time, and I wanted nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. I didn't think I was going to be a recording artist. I was not interested. It was just a lot going on. My mother was always busy. It took my mom away. It was just, no.
Wow.
And then in college, I was really into poetry. I started performing. And at the time, Universal Records had just started. My grandmother passed away, and my godfather, Doug Morris, got me a job working at Universal Records. And I was working in the PR department, and I met this lady, and she was a poet too. And so I did my poetry for her, and I was the school's poet. So I thought I was it. I'd perform for graduations, parties, everything. Did my poem for her. It was trash. She told me so.
She told you?
And she told me, and she gave me a homework assignment. She said, and I was in New York at the time. And she said, you need to read more poetry and you need to start going to open mics. So I said, okay. And so the open mic scene in New York City was like big. Like this is the time Erykah Badu was around. India Ari was in New York City. Common, like all these big artists were just burgeoning. And so I would go to these open mics. They would be there and it would be a vibe. And I met my boyfriend, and I was in college. I was performing, and I secretly wanted to be a rapper. But I was too shy. I was too scared. Women didn't do it. And I don't know. It was just crazy. Like 2 years later, I rededicated my life to the Lord and still secretly wanted to rap. And just randomly, nothing is ever random. God always puts things together just right. I met a woman. And she was doing a boot camp for rappers, and she was called Freestyle Union. And she's like, I want you to be a part of it. So I said, sure. I did it for a year, was rapping for a year. She says, hey, BT has this cool competition. It's called Freestyle Friday, and I want you to be the first person to go on and represent us. I say a prayer. I'm like, God, I'm not really that good. I've only been doing it a year. Why me? If you let me win 4 times, each time I win, I will, give you glory. Even though
the ultimatum.
Always like God needs me, right? Yeah. And I, I'm trashing people. This is not uplifting at all. It's terrible.
That's funny. Lord, let me win.
I'm winning. I'm tearing people in the name of Jesus.
Bless them out.
So I win my 4 times. And, the hosts are like, man, we'll see you week 5. And I said, nope, I only asked God for 4. This is good enough for me. And that was it. Wow. I said, wow, Lord, like you gave me my heart's desire. This is what I want to do. And I want to do it for you. And the floodgates opened. I said, this is what I know I'm supposed to do with my life. And I knew I was supposed to be a recording artist and an arts educator. And just here we are. Something years later.
I love it.
Something years. I like the way you said that.
Something years later.
Yeah. So being brought up in the music industry, do you sing or do you play an instrument as well?
I sing. I can hold a note in the palm of my hand, but I always write singing hooks. So I always have some sort of like vocals, like in my music. I'll get other people to do the parts. I won't expose my vocals just yet to the world. So yeah,
Aisha, you can volunteer for something like that.
Look, we got to get her in the studio and singing all over the hook. Just know. That's very
I'll
cool.
leave it to you, girl. I'll leave it to you.
I'm gonna try.
Oh, you get it done.
Now you've done some international traveling with your art and arts education. Is that right?
Yes.
What did that look like?
So basically, I was just doing a ton of recording and music. And I was doing a lot of stuff like nationally, which was amazing. In the Christian hip hop sector. And I just prayed out to God. I said, God, what's up? What's the next thing? I had gotten this prophecy in like 20, you get a prophecy. You're like, okay, Lord, what's up? So I would do things in hip hop never been done, and I would do them internationally. And I hadn't even been to Canada, and I lived in Detroit. So I was like, God, what's up? Where we at? What are we doing here? Get this opportunity, yet another opportunity. The same mentor was like the first hip hop musical ambassador. And so it was a program that the United States had launched back, in the Cold War era. And they had used greats like Dizzy Gillespie and other jazz greats. And they were jazz ambassadors and kind of used music as a means to create these like people to people connections in different countries where, United States relations had been strained. And so she was the first person to do it with hip hop. So she said, hey, this program is happening. They're opening it up for other people. I want to offer this opportunity to you. If you're able to do it, then, go ahead, sign up for it. But you need a band. I'd never had a band. I barely had a DJ. And in 1 month, I had to put together a band, do this application that was like super thorough, explain why I wanted to do, good for humankind abroad. And out of maybe, I want to say like 1,000 applicants, my band that I threw together was selected to be a U.S. musical ambassador for like 5 countries in Africa. And so that was 2013. And since I've been able to do that work, just touring, doing music, doing shows, and doing arts education for about 18 countries. So it's been dope.
Is that your day-to-day role these days?
It is not my day-to-day role. I still do it. Like I just recently did an arts envoy cultural mission in Dubai, and then last year I got to do it in Israel. So of course, with everything that's happening, it's very just real. It's very interesting.
Sure.
So different, but yeah, I'm an arts educator, still doing music. My husband and I, we do music together. We release music, and so yeah.
What's your latest release? Tell us about that.
Ooh, it is called Go. G-O.
Go.
Go.
All
Okay.
Right.
Go. It's from a project that we just released last year called Better. And we just love the song. We love the record. It just really good. And we were like, man, we should do some remixes. Reached out to some friends, and we just all kind of came together and, added our own little. And so Go is going. It's really cool. Like just getting a lot of buzz, getting a lot of support.
Nice.
People are listening, so it's been really fun.
What is it about?
Go is really about just that.
Yeah.
It's really fun because it's a house remix, so it's a dance record.
Oh,
but
nice.
I think the message is just be indomitable, to just continue to push. And I think it is motivational without it being like preachy. And yeah, it's just encouraging you that when you feel like halted or you kind of feel stopped, to just continue to push, to be present. Do what you're supposed to do in your heart,
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
Aisha, with many genres of music, there's not as many that you could just do remix after remix. Mm-hmm. Like it's like in the country realm or even CCM to a certain extent, you can only do so many remixes. But with hip hop and rap and that sort of thing, you could do remix after remix because it's all different. It's all new.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. I think that I don't know. Like, I think in general, I feel like there's something about music that kind of lends itself to innovation. And I think that's something that, even when you look at CCM or you look at gospel, like there'll be like CCM classics that will have like a gospel remix, or CCM classics that hip hop artists loved. And they're like, oh no, like we gonna throw our stink on it. We gonna do this version of it.
Sure.
And so I
have it as a hook. or something.
Yeah, we're going to do something.
Mahogany, I think you touched on something there on the remix, and that is the new audiences that you can potentially reach.
Yes. And that's, it's interesting. I think that, one thing that I really love that we've discovered, especially with with CCM or with gospel or music, that we know, it's like, man, like what we have, what's being communicated is really important. Right? What's being said is very important. I think,
yes.
Even related to, I think it's interesting, right, that I get to be like a hip hop cultural ambassador, right? And the connection between like, okay, we're ambassadors of Christ, right? And I get this, I think that the United States is very smart. I think that they understand that music has the ability to do what a lot of other genres of art doesn't. Right?
Yeah, sure.
It gets to touch hearts, that it gets to reach out in a way that maybe if you heard it spoken, it may not hit you, but it's something about music where it's like viscerally our bodies respond to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I do think that it's very important that as believers that we figure out like, man, what is going to hit a heart.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. I've never really thought about it from that perspective before. When you think about art, and it could be a painting on the wall or an illustration, that's a visual format versus this audible format being music. And it's also very, I wouldn't say controversial, but it's very much a preference. Like everybody has their own musical taste. And so, back in the day, well, there won't be drums in church, or sorry, there won't be drums in heaven, and so we can't have them in church. And it had to be the organ and stuff like that. And then of course, when we were kids, the music that we liked, our parents didn't like. And now, you're a parent, and then you listen,
and you don't like it.
Yeah, and you don't like what they're listening to, but
isn't it crazy?
Yeah, it's just crazy how everything gets to become full circle. But definitely music is
a way of repeating.
Yeah.
So,
but music definitely is has that impact on people that and I'm not even sure these days that people are stuck in a specific genre of music, because there's so much content out there now, and there's so much crossover that you could have. I'm thinking Bohemian Rhapsody, like it's like that a lot of people love that song because there's so many different styles of music in that one song, right? And then when you start talking about remixes, it's the same sort of thing where it's, there's the original element of the song, but now it's done in this style that maybe I like better,
Yeah. I think that our society, our culture, we're just inundated with creative content. It's everywhere. It's in everything. And like, how do you wear the mandate? How do you carry that responsibility? Because with there being so much out there, and that God has called you to something specific, but it's like, God, am I swallowed up in everything that's around me and so much content,
You know what I'm realizing too, and I could be wrong, but so I think it's two things, right? Because again, it just kind of brings me back to that idea of like, I'll just go to this. When I fell in love with music,
yeah,
and when I knew like, oh no, like, I went to college, I got my degree, but when I knew like, oh no, I'm supposed to be an artist, like this is my work, it's because I had encountered artists that were so vulnerable, artists that shared parts of themselves that it was like, oh my gosh, and they doing that did something that healed me on the inside. And I was like, ooh, this is really important work. And so I think what I've just decided to do is I've decided to just not only be vulnerable and like my music, but it's like, man, I want to share my life, because it's like when you listen to music, it resonates with you and you like it because it's like, oh, this person is saying something I can't say, or this person feels what I feel. So I think if we can figure out how to be honest and how to be, you know what I'm saying, how to just and show up in ways where it's like, man, like, I get that person. Now that person gets me. I think that too is what's helped. I think that is what has helped music and different genres of music hop over a lot of cultural fences and barriers. Is because no matter how sonically you feel like, oh, I'm only supposed to be locked into this kind of music because I grew up like this. It's no, that person is embodying like how I get down or how I feel. You know? I don't know. I just feel like if we can do that, you know?
As an artist, do you ever get the pull to sound like the other guy? You know, they've got a great sound and whatnot. So what do you do with that?
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I think I low-key had, like, you know, they say when you get older, you have a midlife crisis. I artistically had like midlife crisis, right? Here I am, I'm getting older. I don't, I do not make music for little kids. I do not make what is happening or what's hot right now. And I fought for a little while. I tried to like study other music patterns and, I tried to switch it up. And I thought about it and I'm just like, that's not honest. That's not real. Yeah. I'm not comfortable. They don't buy it. You know what I mean? Like, let me just make what I make, and my tribe of people who are into what I'm into, they will find me and I will find them. But I'm not going to try to do what is like trending because, that one song that's hot all 2023, all 2022, you're not even thinking about it when 2024, 2025 rolls around. But those songs that we listened to in the car when we were kids and our parents played for us that are still rocking 20 years later, that's the kind of music they're making.
You mentioned midlife crisis, and I'm hoping for me personally to have a midlife crisis because I'd like to get a nice fancy car. I just don't have the money. I don't have the money right now to have a midlife crisis. You know?
I needed that for real. I want one too then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Shoot.
I got to fund this thing somehow, you know?
Right? For real.
Yeah. How to fund a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
James, you're low key, like, James got stock everywhere. He can retire if he wants to tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, James, stop playing. I like this interview. Put me onto them stock tips. Like I said, I need to refund my midlife crisis too.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, here's one thing I have learned, and this isn't a midlife crisis, but this is something I've discovered that, and this has got nothing to do with the conversation that we're having, obviously, as far as music is concerned. But I've heard that the best way to retire is to, first of all, you move from a very poor country to a very prosperous country, like North America or something like that. And then you work a job and you make your money, you set aside money for retirement and whatnot. And then you move back to the poor country because now your money's worth a fortune and you can live like a king.
Yeah, listen, okay. Yes, totally. I stamp and verify that. So one of my colleagues, that's low-key what they did. Like, got all this grant money, did their thing, worked really hard, and they have like a home in Thailand, and they are living like a king.
Yeah.
Yeah. I ain't mad at them one bit. That's awesome.
Nope.
Yeah. So you got to plan your retirement accordingly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Man, I didn't expect to get gems. Come on.
I didn't expect we'd be talking about this, but anyways.
Yeah, I love that.
So Mahogany, tell us what you've got in store for the future. Obviously, you say you're making music. You've got this Go song. You've been doing stuff, collaborations with your husband. What does the next 12 months hold for you? So I just finished writing a book of poetry
that I'm really excited about, because like I said, that was my roots. That's what I was excited about. And, I've released about like 6 albums and who knows how many like compilations since. And so this is my first book of poetry. It's called Words My Father Gave Me.
Wow.
And
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. I'm so excited. So it's being edited now. So that'll be released. My last project called Better. I released that last year, and I also just wanted to create curriculum for it. And so I'm just going to be spending some time doing that and looking to like launch a tour that will have like workshops and where I'll be performing the music and just having conversations about, just what it looks like to just live in the space of being better. I mean, like, we're always doing something, and me, I'm queen of always doing something, but I'm just very much interested in the space of like, man, God, what does it look like to just be and be like better? Like, I don't necessarily have to be the best, but just be open, step by step, taking it day by day. So, and yeah, still want to make music with my hubby, and just still momming and wifing, and that's been amazing. So that's pretty much the game plan.
Can you clarify something for me?
Sure.
So you've got this book of poems, Words That My Father Gave Me, but you mentioned that it's being edited right now. How can you edit a book of poems? I mean, without changing the poems.
For me, like, I'm very much I think I'm very much a spoken word poet. And being a page poet, there's definitely an art to page poetry. I think just the way that the lines are on the page, just the spacing, the way that the meters are. So just all that little stuff, all the diddles that'll make it look like, oh, this is very well done.
So punctuation, that sort of thing.
Yes. That kind of stuff.
Okay, that's fine. Because I'm just thinking, like, if you write a song and then you get somebody to edit the song, then potentially they've changed the song.
Their song.
Yes,
right.
they have changed the song.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Then they get a percentage. Then they get some split.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they get some of the credits on that. That's for sure.
No. It's all just punctuation stuff. It's all syntax stuff. It's also that it looks nice and pretty.
Right. Okay. And so it's going through the final stages and everything. Are you going to have pictures in this thing?
I will not have pictures.
No,
I didn't think about that. This is just like my first go around, and I really just wanted. It was just a bucket. You know how you just have a bucket list thing, and it's like, man, like. And this was that. So I think I'm going to go back in. I'm really grateful. I'm also a high school teacher. So I teach, I'm an English teacher. And so it's great because the summers I have off. And so just this summer, I plan on going to Detroit, and I'll be, doing some arts education. I'll be teaching for the month of July, but I'm just going to really also use that time to tap back in, write some more poetry, work on writing some music. And so I'm sure that book number 2 will be on her way. So,
golly, that's so exciting.
What's exciting is the fact that somebody's writing a book post-pandemic, because during the pandemic, everybody and their mother was writing a book. And, and everybody and their mother was doing a podcast. And now you're seeing how the dust settles with this whole thing,
But I feel now everybody's doing podcasts, which I think is cool. But then again, it's like you said, Ish, I just feel like we are just inundated with so much content.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, what are you saying? Should I listen? Is it good? I don't know.
But I think what people need to do is, you're right, people are getting inundated with content, but I think what people need to do, especially the people that are producing the content, is what you're doing effective, and is it any good?
Right.
Because you could say that, hey, I've written a book, and put author on your bio, but is it any good? Right? Or write a song, but is it any good?
Right.
I've recorded a song. Well, I've got a home studio. I could record a song. It might not be very good, but I can at least call myself now a songwriter and an artist.
Gosh.
Right?
But what's sad though? What's sad is that there are so many people who it's interesting, artist, he's a rapper, his name is Andre 3000. He's just like, it's really sad to see the genre, like certain genres of music just be changed in ways where it's like it's just driven by money. So it's just like people get to be artists, people get to have podcasts, but is it really good? Is contingent on their popularity. It's like it's so much stuff that's out that's not good. And it's like people just doing stuff just to do stuff just because like, oh, this will make money. It's a quick
because
flick.
they can. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm glad you said it, because if I said it, people would be shooting me down, right? So I agree with you, but I'm just saying,
Yeah, sometimes it takes someone from the outside to say something and for it to kind of land.
Except if the person on the outside is not telling the truth because they're a friend or a family member and they're saying, "Oh, this is really good," but it's not.
Oh gosh, yeah,
it's not good.
I played this song for my mom, and Mom loves it.
Yeah,
okay,
it's amazing.
Mom's the only
one who
loves it. Yeah. Good night.
Oh my God, I cannot.
Yeah, we do like to horse around a bit, don't we?
Authenticity. Mo, I do. I love how real you are. I love how transparent you are, and your flow is just so you gotta off the dome like something. You gotta give us something.
Oh my gosh! No beat, no nothing. Let's see.
No pressure.
No pressure. All right. No pressure, but it's always cooking. Tell you what it is. Say daily, I said I'm looking for the signs. Yep, for the redesign. Father, tell me what is the time. I know that your return is soon. Know what it is, because it's feeling high noon. Feeling like the sun is on the moon in eclipse. Feeling like right now I feel the shift. Something's happening in this atmosphere, so make it clear. Come right now, arrears, because we looking for you. And we waiting and we hungry. Tell me what it is that we need. I need something to soothe me. Right now, just move me. Yes, Father, I'm just asking that you please consume me. Happy that you are here. We're all together. Happy that we're shifting things, even the weather. I know something that God is clever. My endeavors. Okay, I'm just done. I'm just talking. It's okay.
Oh my gosh.
But what's amazing is that's just off the top of your head. I mean, that's talent. That's amazing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like I gotta sit for a couple of hours.
Oh, here you go. Whatever.
I'd have to sit for a couple of hours just to come up with one line that rhymed like that. Oh my goodness.
I admire that. I love it. Oh, it's great.
That's awesome.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you. That was fun. Thank y'all. Thank you for just letting me have fun. I think with those two, I think it's really important. I think that, especially basically what you guys are doing, I think if you do work like this, if you do work where you're sharing information, where where you are, I don't know, like, I think it's very important to provide and hold space for people to show up as themselves.
Yes.
And I think that genuine begets genuine.
Sure.
If that makes sense. Like it's I feel the same. Like it's cool to come into a space and it's, people not putting on airs. Like you said, like it's a lot of trash out here. You want to say it in a nice way because you don't want to offend people.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're willing to say it because it needs to be said. Like we just need more truth tellers. We need more. I think especially in spaces where we're dealing with things of the faith. I think because right now we're in an era where people are really hungry and looking for God. Yes. And I think that they have found so much that is not God, that is not honest, that's not real, that's not allowing people to really connect. So, I mean, thank you, but I thank y'all because we need more, we just need more.
We absolutely do.
I feel good.
Mm-hmm. I'll say this about me personally. If I do the morning show on the radio station, the Christian radio station in Toronto. But if you really want to get to know me, listen to the podcast because that's when we let loose and actually talk about stuff. On the radio, you've got X amount of seconds to say something, and it's everything from the sports scores to the weather forecast to here's the intro of the song that you're about to hear, that sort of thing, where we get down to the nitty gritty on the podcast. And so if you really want to find out about James, listen to Between the Grooves.
Yeah, let's go, James.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go.
Let's go. This has been so good, Mo. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. This was lit. This was
Golly.
so much fun. Thank you,
Yes,
guys.
it was.
I'm glad you had fun. We did too.
Thank you, guys. You have a great one. Thank
You
you.
too.
Aisha.
Okay, you too. Love you.
All right, love you. Bye.
That was a fun conversation with Mahogany.
Yes, it was.
It really was.
So good.
I got to share a story with you, kind of related. Way back when I had a friend of mine send me some tracks from an artist. I'll use that in quotes.
Okay.
Of a guy. He wanted me to rate his music, wanted me just to give some feedback on it and stuff. And I get that all the time. But this was, back in the early days. And I guess this guy was attempting to be a hip hop or a rap type artist. And, he wanted my thoughts. And so typically in radio, if you're the music director, like I am, you're really only listening to the first few seconds of a song and making a judgment based on that. And there's other factors, the length of the song, and, you might skip ahead, hear how it ends or whatever else. But he wanted my take on these songs. I'm no word of a lie. Every single one of these tracks started the same way. Can I tell you how they started?
Wait, can I guess?
No, because I want to do this. I don't want you to do this. This is how it started. Here we go. I need silence here.
Wait, you need a beat.
No, don't even need a beat for this. No, Aisha, I don't even need a beat for this because they all started the same way. Here we go. Okay, quiet, here we go.
All right.
Yeah. They all started, yeah. Not really original. So I told them that, and they were, they weren't very happy. But
oh god,
there you go. At least Mahogany doesn't do that. Yeah.
Oh man. You know what? You could get away with it because you sound kind of cool saying yeah.
Well, if they want to use that as a soundbite for any track going forward, I'm fine. If Mahogany wants to use that, she can just take that, just splice that out of this whole conversation and yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Wow.
We're getting a little carried away here. Many thanks to Mahogany Jones for hanging with us today. Had some good laughs with her. And,
yes, indeed.
Make sure you tune in to Between the Grooves. Another great episode for you next week. Thanks for joining us today.
It was so much fun.
Thanks for listening to Faith Strong Today's Between the Grooves podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, would you consider sharing it with your friends, rating our podcast, or giving us some love on your socials to your amazing friends and followers will only help us reach more people. We'd also love to hear from you and share your feedback in an upcoming episode. Send your video or written message to Aisha and James on Facebook or X at Between Grooves and on Instagram at Between Grooves Pod. Or email us anytime, hello@faithstrongtoday.com.